I don't believe in them, and I want to announce that to the world right now. This is Max knows this. I picked the Sixers to get to the finals at the start of this season, before the season even began. I thought that, even though I knew that Milwaukee would be great because of the Greek Freak, I just really believed in my heart of hearts that when things got tight, that somehow, some way they would fold. They're making us all out to be liars right now. Milwaukee's the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. The Greek Freak is absolutely sensational, and the pieces around him are playing so well together. They're stout defensively. They give up nothing on the interior, and they make three-point shots. Whereas when you look at the Philadelphia 76ers right now, I believe they ranked like 23rd in the league in attempts from the three-point shot. And they're like 16th in made. That's not going to get it done in the Eastern Conference, because when you look at the other, Milwaukee's going to make threes. Toronto's going to make threes. Boston is going to make threes. And Miami is going to make threes. And I think that right now it's not an accident that the Philadelphia 76ers are in the 6th seed or what have you. Because if you look at all of those teams that I've mentioned, think about what they have. They have better perimeter shooters, and they have better leadership. We don't know who the hell the leader for the Sixers are. We don't know if it's Ben Simmons. We don't know if it's Joel Embiid. We don't know whether it should be either of them because of the way things have been looking. It clearly isn't Brett Brown. Elton Brand is acknowledging they've got to figure things out. And it's just a situation right now where the Sixers, even though they're winning more than they're losing, and they're respectable. Just purely from a championship perspective, guys, they've been a disappointment. And everybody else is together.
For sure, the Sixers have underperformed. I'm not surprised by the Celtics one bit. I warned everyone. You were saying it was Gordon Hayward. Stephen A., we could have that argument again another time. I thought Kyrie was a poison pill for that team. I look at how Kemba's leadership has changed things, how well they're playing when they're healthy. So I'm not surprised by the Celtics' success. The Bucks tower above the rest of the division. Toronto's good, but I don't believe in them come playoff time without a Kawhi on the team. I'm going to buy the Sixers stock now, not because I believe in them more than the Celtics or as much as the Bucks, but because that stock is so low right now, I'm going to buy. What has the history of the NBA taught us, if anything? When you have superstars or guys with superstar potential, when the playoffs start, things change, and that's when talent really comes forward. I will remind everyone, it took one of the great shots of all time for Toronto and Kawhi Leonard, who wound up winning Finals MVP, to get by these Sixers. He did it around Simmons, Embiid, and Simmons. Simmons has gotten better since then. Simmons is an elite player right now. Nobody knows it because the shooting, of course, is not any good still. And because he plays with Embiid, the averages, like the scoring average and everything, is lower than it ought to be. He's elite defensively. He's a hustle player, even if he stays in Miami an extra day. He's a hustle player. Watch him play. And he's doing things offensively with not shooting, but offensively that are rarely done. He is a special player. We know Embiid can be a special player. He can be a problem for the Freak in a matchup. Those two guys are 24-2 at home. Yeah, it's the best record in the league, but think about what that means. It's in there. It's in there somewhere. And what that also means is, in a playoff series, steal one on the road. And you could beat anyone. Steal one on the road. You look at the way the team is formulated. Tobias Harris is underperforming. Al Horford could not be playing worse. Josh Richardson, when you got him, it has to be a good shooting year. It hasn't been so far, but Embiid and Simmons, other than the Freak, are capable of playing at a higher level than anyone else who's healthy, because KD and Kyrie aren't, in the conference. I'm buying that stock. It is way undervalued right now.
All right, but you're talking about being healthy. That would be a concern because, as we all know, Joel Embiid has been injured more than he's actually been on the court and been healthy. And 24-2 is good, but like you said, that all of a sudden now you're in the postseason, you're on the road. You got to be able to do it on the road. I go back to a very simple thing. The 76ers are the only team in the NBA right now that have 4 players with $100 million contracts. Their plus-minus when those 4 players are on the floor together is -3 on the season. It's not working. It goes exactly back to Stephen A. Smith's point of leadership. There is no leadership on this team right now. And, yeah, they were a shot away a year ago from advancing and getting to that point, but on that shot, they also had Jimmy Butler out on the floor. He's not there. Look what he's doing in Miami and the difference that he's made this year for the Heat. J.J. Redick isn't on this roster anymore. The ability to stretch and make threes from the outside. To me, I sold a while ago this season. I was buying early. I admit it. I was a lot like everybody else. I thought this team would be a lot better. They're not. And their chemistry and their pieces aren't working.
They're the biggest disappointment of the season. But real quick, Stephen A., when you talk about the plus minus and the four, I agree. Tobias Harris and Al Horford have been disasters, particularly Horford's one of my favorite players. But the bottom line is when Embiid and Simmons, Sean, are on the floor together, their offensive rating is top 5 as a team in the NBA, and their defense isn't much worse with Horford off the floor. So you talk about the top $400 million contracts, but when you talk about the top 2, they're operating at an elite level.
Yeah, but the point is that that's not really the issue, Max, because we know what they can do on the basketball court as talent. It's really a question of leadership because, again, look at what they were with Jimmy Butler, and look at what they are without him.
Look what Miami is with him.
And look at what Miami is with him. It's not just the play. It was the fact that he's willing to get in their face, and he always was. So, Sean, the reason why I want to interject is I want to ask you this question. I have been on this tip where it's about Brett Brown, who I genuinely like. But I think that there's something to be said about when we look at Joel Embiid. Can we say he's gotten better? No. When we look at Ben Simmons, can we say he's gotten better? No. We know that Ben Simmons can play, and he's elevated defensively. I'm talking about what he chooses to do on the court. When the coach sits up there and says, you need to learn to shoot perimeter shots, you need to take those shots, you need to shoot more, and he doesn't even do it, what are we to say? So I'm looking at Brett Brown, and I'm saying it's not a talent issue with the 76ers. It's leadership. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.